Benny Blanco from the Bronx, Carbon White. I am right back with another football video, and this one is a discussion. I bring to you a discussion. Who am I bringing the discussion to? You, myself, the AFC Leopards fans. Yeah, so where do we start? 3 games into the league so far, 3 points for AFC Leopards. Not from any kind of win whatsoever. We are still unbeaten, mind you, but it's 3 draws back to back to back. And one of the Achilles heel for AFC Leopards has been draws, especially last season. We had bare draws left, right, and center. When other teams go for it, they're a bit decisive. Why is it that if we are not losing, why can't we be a little bit industrious and go for the win? How is it that teams like Posta Rangers manage to master wins after wins, so that when it comes to the worst case scenario, they draw? But for AFC Leopards, it's like a draw is the best case scenario. Before the game between Bandari and AFC Leopards, I was talking to my brother and I told him that I am looking at a 1-1 draw. And he was just laughing, telling me, why can't you be a bit positive and think of AFC Leopards as a team that is going to win? It's because I have seen enough to know this team. And especially heading into this season, we thought that probably this is a fresh start. And I surely hope that I am wrong about my thinking, and that they are going to turn the corner. Because sometimes when you're busy drawing, teams just run away with the points, and you become the chaser, and at some point you just lose hope, and even for the fans, you're just going to the stadium for vibes, and you do not want to get to that position where you're just looking at vibes, like ni form tu umetafuta form, and you say that AFC Leopards is playing today, and then you go and watch. But for this, I want to know what your view of the team is. So for starters, I'd say we do not have a bad team. Our players are good, but we have what can I say? I'll talk about some positions and also maybe how the team plays. Let us start from the goalkeeper. Setuba has been starting most of our matches, except the last one, which he started from the bench. But for the better part, the first 2 matches, he started in goal. And there are some goals that we really conceded, and I am just thinking, what do we have in goal? Or rather, who do we have in goal? And if you see the fans around the stadium, and especially when we are defending against a set piece, and watu wanaanza hivi kuzusha, not kuzusha really, but wanaanza tu kutetemeka that this could be a goal, as long as it's chipped up, the keeper will just stay in his line and wait. He just doesn't go for the ball. The goal we conceded against Sofapaka in the opening match, the second goal, the first and second goals that we conceded against Posta Rangers in Dandora, I think, was it the second goal, if I'm not mistaken, that he dived even after the ball has already gone to the back of the net. Like, anapeana those Onana vibes, and it's not a good look. For me, a good goalkeeper is supposed to be very decisive, that when a ball is floated into his area, he's the one who is allowed to play with the hands, and he has an advantage over every other player. So any ball that is in the air coming into his area, he should be claiming it, be it corners, be it free kicks, be it what, or even shots. The second goal that we was it the first goal against Posta was the one that he dived even after the ball has gone to the back of the net. The second one was from a corner, and it's slotted into his area. He's just watching for these players to come and claim the ball, and then probably he's looking to make a save, or I don't know what that was. But in the third match, I wouldn't say much because we didn't concede a goal, but we neither scored, and it ended in a barren draw. In a game that is not very competitive, during the ODM at 20 celebrations, the soccer extravaganza that was there, that AFC Leopards met up against who? Against Bandari. Aki, the goal that we conceded. No, not even that. That one ended in a draw, and then Bandari beat us on penalties. I remember Madada and who? There was someone else after Madada who lost the penalties, and Bandari advanced to the finals. And then I think we had to play against Shabana for the third placed team. And the goal that we conceded against Shabana, just go on Instagram or TikTok, search for Fans Fireball, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Threads. I posted that video on how we conceded that goal, and it was just shameful. Let me just say it, for someone who is not a fan of AFC Leopards, that goal was very funny to you. Very funny. Comedy at its best. But for FC Leopards fans, that was a very shameful goal. And let me not just belabor about the goalkeeper, because at the end of the day, you need to score goals for you to win matches. Do we have strikers? Yeah. I don't know. Is it possible that we can just play with bare midfielders in the squad for us to be able to be solid and have people who are decisive up front, like a Merino? You see, people say Mikel Merino is a midfielder, but he can also fill in as a striker, and he has a lot of goals for a midfield player. Should we have midfielders who can be utilized as strikers for AFC Leopards to blossom up front? The other bit is about probably the defense. The defense, sometimes it's a bit stable. You could see that, yes, we have some good defenders, but sometimes we just allow people to run riot within our area and just dictate the game. I think the midfield is the one that holds us very well for most parts of the game, but then we are lacking behind and in front. So, and this is probably a Kenyan problem, but because FC Leopards is my team, I'll focus a bit more on FC Leopards to say this, that when you're running with the ball, yeah, and I think this is what separates the best teams from other teams, is decisiveness. Being able to read the game and making the right decisions. So, for example, when there's a player who is running down the channel or on the wings and he is all alone, what's the need for you to cross the ball into the area when there is no one there? And there's no one actually like chasing you to the point that you have to release this ball. Besides, even if you have to release that ball, you have to release it when there is someone who is waiting upon that ball. Yeah? So you have the ball on the wings, hold on to the ball, move with the ball and allow your players to get into the area for you to make a pass, or a cross. Because again, probably there's some good passage of play that has happened behind you receiving that ball on the flanks. So when you're crossing to no one, it becomes a wasted kind of ball. And then now you have to retreat, re-strategize, and hope that you gain possession again. So this is one of the things that is ailing AFC Leopards decision making. Get the ball, and especially skillful players, the kinds of players like Kinyanjui, the kinds of players like Madada, and even Aguero. These players can hold on the ball and allow others to come into the fray and pass the ball to them, and see how to be able to do what, to get a result out of their passage of play. The other bit is about the management of AFC Leopards. For me, I will not jump onto the bandwagon that so and so has to go or what and what, because some of the things that we see on the pitch, I don't think it's something that they are coached. There are some elements that you see and you say that hey, at this point now the coach has to go, because at that point probably you're looking at the structure of the team. For me, the first 3 matches, I wouldn't say that the structure is bad. Sometimes players make blunders, and for me personally, I don't want to get to that point where because you have those things in mind. Sometimes you concede goals and then you're thinking, is this game sold? Did someone bet on this game? And the person who bet on this game is on the pitch playing. Yeah? I don't want to get to that point where you're thinking that this game has already been bought, because that would be very disastrous. And I can't blame the fans for how they are reacting on the stadium, calling on the players and like expressing their frustrations. FC Leopards is not a small team. It's a very big institution in this country. And a lot of times, because it has not been able to win a trophy since 1998, the Premier League since 1998, and still is the 3rd most successful team. There was a time when Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards was ahead of Gor Mahia in terms of Premier League titles in my lifetime. That at some point I could tell a Gor Mahia fan that AFC Leopards is the most successful team in Kenya based on the number of Premier League trophies. And then what happened? Gor Mahia came, and then they just started winning trophies. Now they are on 21 trophies, when AFC Leopards is on 13. That is a whole 8 Premier League titles that AFC Leopards has to win to match up Gor Mahia, and hoping that Gor Mahia stops winning trophies within that time. Yeah, that is a lot to amount. But anyway, Tusker also came in and overtook AFC Leopards. Now AFC Leopards is the 3rd most successful team. And remember, this is in my lifetime. I am old, not very old. So you can imagine how much one as a fan has to suffer to see all these things. So now to you, as a fan, what do you expect to see from this team? What are you looking at to say that maybe if this thing changes, then things will be better? Because for me, if you say that you bring in another coach, I wouldn't think that here in Kenya we usually have that kind of a new manager bounce kind of thing. But for me, what you need to look at, and I'm not saying this in defense of the coach or the management, but on that front, I wouldn't say in the immediate moment that you change the team. But for me, I'd say that probably we need a sit down. We need a sit down. I don't know if these players are usually talked to. Do they just turn up in training, do a bit of runs here and there, a bit of ball work, and then let's meet on match day? Is that what happens? Because sometimes you need a sit down with these players and give them a hard talk. So now to what I was talking about for the fans. What is it that you think should be done for AFC Leopards to improve? Beyond just calling on the head of the coach. And what is it that as fans we can do to influence the team to perform better? Because at the end of the day, it's the paying fan who goes to the field. If you're building a brand of an institution, and especially in sports, you can't do it outside of the fans. Yeah? So even as the fans, it means that we have a very big voice, a bigger voice in terms of making AFC Leopards perform good. And especially on the field, I'd say probably if you're expressing anger, for me, I'd say probably at the end of the match, very justified. During the match, I'd say probably let us rally behind the team. Let's cheer them on. Sometimes, because sometimes you would, maybe a player would make a bad pass and then we would be calling for his substitution. I am guilty of that at times, but now this is me talking in hindsight. Probably also checking myself and saying that probably when we do that, do we get that player out of the game mentally? Or sometimes when they make a good pass and we are cheering them on, does it spur them on to do even better? Yeah. So what is it that we can do as fans of AFC Leopards to ensure that the team performs even better? Yeah, because we should not be going to a team, and especially we were hosting Bandari. We lost against them in where? In Mombasa. We have drawn here in Nairobi when we were at home. If wherever AFC Leopards goes to play, especially against every other team except Shabana and Gor Mahia, you wouldn't say that they are away, so there is that away pressure. Any team playing against FC Leopards is always feeling as if they are the away team. Yeah, because of the fans. Yeah, so for me, I leave it to you. What is it that you think as fans we can be able to do to ensure that AFC Leopards rises, yeah, and claws all these other teams? Yeah, so kindly do me a favor and subscribe to this YouTube channel, share this video, comment, like, yeah, and spread the news. So that is it we have for you today at Fans Fireball. Till next time, bye bye.